My name is Leo. 6 months ago, I did something incredibly wicked to save my own skin at my first real office job. I tricked my quiet coworker into going home early just so our boss would fire him instead of me. I thought I had played the perfect corporate game. But yesterday, our tiny company was acquired by a massive tech conglomerate. When the new billionaire CEO stepped into the conference room, my heart stopped. It was him. To understand the gravity of my mistake, you have to go back to my first week at the firm. I was completely broke, drowning in student debt, and desperate for a break. The company was small, consisting of just the boss, 4 permanent employees, and 2 new hires on probation. The other new guy was Oliver. He had 3 years of solid experience, while I had absolutely none. I knew I was in deep trouble. On our second day, the boss pulled us both into his glass office. He looked us dead in the eye and said, "We only have the budget to keep one of you permanently after the 3-week trial. Whichever of you performs worse will be let go immediately." My stomach churned. Oliver was faster than me, smarter than me, and his work was flawless. If I played fair, I was guaranteed to be thrown back onto the streets. As the days passed, my anxiety reached a boiling point. I began watching Oliver like a hawk, looking for any mistake I could exploit. But he was incredibly kind, always offering to help me with my spreadsheets and never bragging about his skills. His perfection only made me hate him more. I didn't see a colleague, I saw a wall standing between me and my financial survival. I needed an opportunity to ruin him. That opportunity finally came on a stormy Friday afternoon. At exactly 12:30 p.m., the 4 permanent employees and the boss went out for a long celebration lunch, leaving Oliver and me behind to manage the phones. Oliver and I decided to take our quick lunch break downstairs at the local deli. When we walked back up to the office 15 minutes later, we found the heavy main glass door completely locked. The team hadn't returned yet, and they had accidentally locked us out. Oliver laughed gently and made a casual joke. He said, "Maybe the firm works shorter hours on Fridays and they forgot to tell us." A dark, desperate spark ignited in my brain. I saw my chance and decided to take it. I looked at him with fake sincerity and said, "Yeah, you're probably right. The boss mentioned something about a half day. Let's just go home." Oliver hesitated at first. He looked at his watch, clearly feeling uneasy about leaving without official confirmation. But I kept pushing the lie, acting completely confident. "Trust me, Oliver, I heard the boss say it yesterday. Don't be so paranoid." Exhausted from the long week, he finally agreed. We walked down together to the crowded bus stop, waiting under the pouring rain for his ride to arrive. Right as his bus pulled up and the doors opened, I executed the second part of my sinister plan. I slapped my forehead and said, "Oh wait. I just remembered I need to buy some urgent groceries at the store next to the stop. Go ahead, I'll catch the next one." Oliver smiled, thanked me, and stepped onto the bus. As soon as the vehicle pulled away into the traffic, I turned around and sprinted back to the office. I waited outside the locked door for another 10 minutes until the boss and the permanent staff finally returned from their long lunch. The boss unlocked the door, looked around the empty room, and immediately frowned. He turned to me, his voice sharp and demanding, and asked, "Where the hell is Oliver? We have a massive client presentation starting in 20 minutes." This was my ultimate moment to strike. I put on my best face of fake disappointment and sighed. I told the boss, "Oliver said he was bored and assumed we worked shorter hours on Fridays. I literally begged him to stay and wait for you, but he just laughed, packed his bags, and went home anyway. The boss's face turned completely red with pure anger. He slammed his fist on the desk and yelled, "Unbelievable! That lazy slacker is finished." Oliver was fired via a cold, brief email before the weekend even ended. He never came back to the office to pack his things, and he didn't even reply to the termination message. I felt an overwhelming rush of victory. I had successfully eliminated my biggest rival with a single, well-timed lie. I was convinced that the permanent position, the steady paycheck, and the corporate security were finally mine. But the universe has a very strange way of delivering karma. At the end of the third week, the boss called me into his office again. Instead of offering me a contract, he sighed heavily and said, "Leo, you tried your best, but your performance metrics are simply too low without Oliver's guidance. I'm sorry, but we have to let you go too." I was completely shattered. In the end, I didn't get the job either. I spent the next 4 months desperately bouncing from one miserable temporary job to another, barely making enough to survive. Eventually, a mid-sized marketing firm hired me as a junior assistant. The pay was awful, but I kept my head down and worked hard, terrified of being thrown out again. I tried to forget about the evil trick I had played on Oliver, telling myself it was just business. 6 months after that fateful Friday, a massive wave of panic hit our new office. It was officially announced that our entire company was being completely acquired by a multi-billion-dollar tech conglomerate. Rumors spread like wildfire that the anonymous billionaire owner was a young, ruthless tycoon who personally inspected every single firm he bought to fire the dead weight. Yesterday morning, all the employees were ordered to sit in the main conference room for an emergency meeting with the new ownership. The atmosphere was incredibly tense. Our current boss was sweating profusely, straightening his tie every 2 seconds. The heavy oak doors finally opened, and a man in a bespoke, immaculate 3-piece suit walked in, flanked by 4 lawyers. My breath caught in my throat. It was Oliver. But he didn't look like the quiet, humble boy in the rainy bus stop anymore. He carried an aura of absolute power and immense wealth. As he took his seat at the head of the long table, his eyes slowly scanned the room until they landed directly on my terrified face. He didn't look surprised at all. Instead, a slow, cold smile spread across his lips. I felt like I was going to throw up. The new conglomerate VP stood up and introduced him. It turned out that Oliver was the sole heir to one of the largest business empires in the country. 6 months ago, his billionaire father had forced him to work under a fake identity at various small firms for zero privileges, just to learn the harsh reality of ground-level corporate life before inheriting the main family empire. Oliver cleared his throat, and the entire room fell into a dead, terrified silence. He looked directly at me and said, "Before we discuss the financial restructuring, we need to address a serious security and ethics issue regarding one of our junior assistants." He opened his expensive leather folder and pulled out a sleek tablet, sliding it across the polished table toward our current manager. 6 months ago, Oliver continued, his voice calm but sharp as a razor, I was wrongfully terminated from a small firm because a certain individual lied to the boss. He claimed I abandoned my shift, when in reality, he manipulated me into leaving so he could steal my position. My current manager looked at the tablet screen, his eyes widening in total shock as he looked back and forth between me and Oliver. Oliver had pulled the CCTV security footage from the external street cameras of our old building from that exact Friday. The crystal clear video showed me talking to him at the bus stop, pushing him onto the bus, and then immediately sprinting back to the office building alone. The digital footprint proved my entire story was a calculated, malicious fabrication to destroy a colleague's career. My manager stood up, his face pale with absolute disgust. He looked at me and barked, "Leo. Is this true? Did you seriously sabotage a coworker with a malicious lie just to advance your own petty career?" I couldn't speak. My throat was completely dry, and my hands were shaking so violently I had to hide them under the table. All the eyes in the room were glaring at me like I was a monster. Oliver leaned back in his leather chair, looking at me with pure pity. "The funny thing is, Leo," he said softly, "if you had just asked me for help, I would have gladly stepped aside or recommended you for a promotion. I didn't need that small salary, but you chose betrayal over honesty." He then turned to the legal team sitting next to him and gave them a slight, definitive nod. The lead lawyer stepped forward and handed me an official document. Because Oliver's family now owned the entire parent company, they weren't just firing me. They were suing me for corporate defamation, fraud, and malicious interference. Furthermore, Oliver ensured that the video evidence and the official case file were sent to every major recruitment agency in the city. I was completely blacklisted. I packed my plastic box in complete silence while my colleagues watched me leave without saying a single word of comfort. I walked out of that skyscraper knowing that my corporate career was permanently dead before it even truly began. My greed and desperation had created a monster, and that monster had completely consumed my future. I am now back to zero, ruined by my own karma. What would you do if you discovered that the coworker you tried to destroy was actually the secret billionaire heir to your entire industry? Would you have played fair from day one, or does desperation justify office politics? Comment your thoughts below. Thank you for listening to Leo's ultimate lesson on corporate karma. Always remember to watch your step, because you never know who is sitting next to you.